Hello, hello. Happy morning. Happy Friday. So the other day I was up a little early and I saw an acquaintance of mine kind of begging for someone to talk to him because he was just having one of those bad days. And so me being up, said why not? We talked for a little bit. He talked to me about, how he felt like a failure because he has all these dreams and all these goals, and here we are, 23, and he feels like he hasn't completed anything, and he's living with his grandma and the whole nine, and so we're sitting and we're talking and we're going back and forth on pretty much feeling like a failure and different things that him and I have done that we've felt that way before. And so I figured, you know what, this is a good truth episode, because I think there's a lot of things that I felt at that time that he's feeling now that everyone at some point feels, but there are ways to get out of it. There's some truths that might set you free. So here we go. So the first truth is we're going to cover failure. And failure is obviously when you don't succeed, when you screw something up and it ends badly. I mean, that's failure, right? You can fail a test, you can fail in a relationship, you can fail at fixing a car, changing a part, whatever. There's a lot of things in the world that you can physically fail at, okay? The thing with failure, and the thing that I think a lot of people need to understand that will help a lot of situations, is that failure is the only way to learn. It's the only way that we get better. It's the only way that we can eventually succeed. Okay? It's it. When you fail, you learn, and then you can change and you can grow and adapt from what you failed at. But if you think that you're just gonna be really good at something all the time and never fail, then that's bad. Okay? So understand that failure is a part of life, and failure is kind of a good thing. Okay, so we can't just be mad or be miserable because you failed at something. I mean, if you want to feel that way, I can't stop you from feeling that way, but I think that what we have to realize is that being in this just, I'm miserable state because you failed, I think it's just a waste of your time and a waste of worrying, because it's common, everyone's going to do it, and you need to do it. Okay? Now, on the whole dreams and how to chase them and why haven't you completed them yet, and so on and so forth, I think something that a lot of people don't want to admit, because what do you think is the biggest excuse for why you haven't done something to chase your dreams? And very honestly, there's a lot of people that will say a lot of different things. Some people will say, I just don't have the money. Some people will say, I'm too busy. There's not enough time. There's always some excuse. I have kids, the whole nine, to where you're just not going to be able to put the effort that is needed in to chase your dreams and try and make your dream a reality. Well, here's a big truth for you, okay? Here we go, big truth. You have 18 usable hours in a day, okay? Now, some people are going to say, well, isn't there 24 hours in a day? Yep. But you need to sleep at some point, and your body only needs 6 hours of sleep. So if you take 24, subtract 6, we're left with 18. There are 18 usable hours in a day, getting still a good, well night's sleep. In those 18 hours, most people don't know what they do. Can't even tell me everything they do in those 18 hours, because they really don't know. Because there's so much time where they just don't do anything. They play video games or they watch TV, and they're literally doing nothing, and they're spending hour upon hour upon hour upon hour doing those things when they could be doing something else, where to better themselves or to chase their dreams. So now, for people that work, the average person works about 8 hours a day, and they drive about 30 to 45 minutes one way to go to work. So calling it 30 minutes one way, which is the more norm, that's an hour plus your 8 hours. So that's 9 total hours in your day. Yes, gone. That still leaves 9 hours left. And when people finally realize that there are 9 hours left in your day when you're done working, when you finally realize how much time that is, your life gets a lot better. Because see, the biggest excuse on earth is, well, I didn't have time. Well, I didn't have time for that. Or I didn't have time for this. Or there wasn't enough time here. Well, there is. 9 times out of 10, you've got very easily 9 hours in your day when you're not working and there's nothing really to do. And most of you spend that and you watch TV and you call that family time. And that's fine. You want to do family time? That's fine. I think everybody should absolutely do family time. But does family time need to be 9 full hours? Does it need to be the rest of the day? Or can you take 2 hours out of your day and do something towards your dream? Well, guess what? This is the truth. If you want to achieve your dream, if you have a dream, you need, not want, not should, need to spend at least 2 hours a day, at least 2 hours a day working on that dream. So whether it be writing down fictitious names to call your business, whether it be going online and looking up prices for certain things that you will need, whether it will be filling out applications for loans or whatever, whether it will simply be just printing out all the paperwork that you will need, whether it will be going online and looking up the steps that you need. I don't care what it is. 2 hours a day minimum needs to be spent on following your dreams. If you don't spend that time, then yeah, you won't get anywhere because you're not putting any time towards it. So that's a hard truth to hear, but it's the truth. And you can't be afraid to fail when you get to that point. Eventually, you're going to get to the point where you're going to have two decisions. Okay, I'm ready. Let's go and follow my dream. And then you take the leap and you go and you follow your dream. And you do it. And it ends in one of two ways. You become successful right off the bat and you're a natural. Or you fail at a few things, and in the business itself or whatever it is, you invent something or whatever, you fail at a few things, and then you have to figure out how to make them right to keep it going. Now you have something on the line because this is your dream. This is what you want. So you can't be afraid to take that leap. You can't be afraid to fail at what you want to do. It doesn't mean that you're bad at it. It means that you're not good at it right now. You're not bad at it in general. You just need some time. You need some help. You need to learn. I'm 23 years old and started a remodeling business. Guess what? I'm not perfect. Actually, started at 22 years old. I'm 23 now, and I'm still not perfect. I've been doing this now for a year, and I'm still not perfect. I still have a lot of things that I keep screwing up. You know, I very rarely walk into a job and know every little detail that I need to know. You know, a lot of times I screw something up, but I have to figure it out, and then I do. Guess what? That's called failing and then figuring it out. But I planned for that. At first, I didn't used to. I used to have to call somebody in, spend money that I didn't have to have someone else come in and fix what I screwed up. But now I plan for enough time for me to figure it out. The point is, you fail. You make mistakes. You screw up. And then you fix them. You learn. And then you do better the next time. But you can't be afraid to fail. You can't be afraid to be in the rut. At 22 years old, living on my own, you know, in debt already from the little bit of schooling that I went to go do that I left. It's hard. to go and say, look, I'm going to start my own remodeling business, of all things. Something that isn't guaranteed money. But I took the leap. I found a business partner. We went into it together. And yeah, the first couple months were rough. Oh my, they were rough. We had like one job a month for a grand total of like $1,000 made. And not between both of us, just in general. After everything we spent, we made like $1,000. Split 2 ways, it's $500 each. But then each one of those $500 gets split again for, this insurance and that insurance and gas that has to go into the truck and the whole nine. So at the end of the day, you only had like $300, maybe $350 if you were lucky, because we were splitting everything. And then that's what you have for a month. I have friends that make that in a day. I have friends that make that in a few hours. And that's not even a joke. So here I am making like $350 a month at the end of the day. It was hard. And it got even more hard when I was told that my fiance was pregnant. And we failed. We failed a lot. We messed up. We messed up not jobs, but we messed things up. We didn't get the best insurance, and we weren't 100% operated business for the first couple months, because we thought we did all right, and then we found out that there was some paperwork that we didn't do, that we didn't even know existed, and whoops. And so we were operating technically illegally. Now we fixed all that, but it took us months to fix all that because we had to pay for it. There was a lot of things we screwed up, and there's things today that are still wrong, that we're still trying to fix. The point of the matter is, yeah, we screwed them up, but we learned how to fix them, and now we're fixing them, and that's part of life. And yeah, it's a big risk. I have a son who's a newborn, who's a sick baby, who spent his first month of his life in the NICU. Not because he was, small, because he has a brain bleed that caused seizures. So life was hard, but guess what? It's gonna be. And you just have to keep marching forward and keep chasing anything, what you want. You have to keep chasing it. 1 foot forward, 1 foot forward, 1 foot forward. Sometimes if you have to back up, though, so that you can sprint, 10, 15 feet forward, and then you go back to 1 foot forward, realize where you can back up in, what you can back up with, so that you can go forward again. But try not to go backwards too far, because then that sprint forward is only going to get you to where you were. So, long story short, you can't fear failure. If you have a dream, chase it. At least 2 hours a day, every day. At least. Minimum 2 hours a day, every single day, until you get there. You have 18 hours in a day to be used. Sit down and actually figure out where you spend your 18 hours. And then when you figure it all out, cut out the stuff that you don't need. If you have no kids and you come home and all you do for 6-7 hours is sit and play video games, stop doing it. You're not going to get anywhere. I understand you want to rewind, so instead of 6-7 hours, how about we do 1 to 2 hours, and then the rest of the time you can actually do something productive. So figure that out. It takes time. Calculate it for a week, and then figure out where you can cut hours. If you have open hours that you just don't know what you're doing, because every day it kind of changes, so maybe it's not always video games, but every day you're kind of just sitting around and not doing anything, well, guess what? Fill those hours with something. That's the truth. There it is. So, I hope this helped. Best of luck. Peace out.